Hey, what's up everyone? In today's video I have a Lockman MegaCross SP cylinder. This is a very similar lock in terms of pin layout to the non-SP version of the Lockman MegaCross that I picked some days ago on my channel, but I have to say that this is a much harder version of this lock, and let me tell you why. Okay, so at first glance the key looks pretty similar to the non-SP version of the MegaCross. We can see side bitting and top bitting, but as you can see there are two cuts that are like this one, and these are pretty large in diameter and they extend well over the midline of the key, so the pins on the side are much bigger. Other than that, this key looks pretty similar. So indeed, this is basically a two-row lock. I don't know if it's a dimple lock because it has pins on the side, but it has also pins on the top. So as you can see, this is like the normal orientation. So we have pins coming from the top. There are 4 pins and 1 ball bearing. This is just a blind hole in here, and on the side we have 5 pins. And you can see the diameter of these pin chambers is a lot bigger than the top pins. Other than that, the keyway looks pretty same, although I have to say that it's a little bit more restrictive, because I was using the same tensioner, or I wanted to, like I did for the normal MegaCross, but I wasn't able to sort of squeeze it into this space on the bottom of the keyway. So it's a little bit more restrictive for sure. Alright, so that's basically the plug with the housing. Okay, so let's take a look at the pins, because that's what's most interesting. The top pins are the same like in the normal MegaCross. We have 4 of these mushrooms, so that's pretty much the same. But if we take a look at the side pins, that's where things get interesting. So the key pins, 4 of them are like this. You can see 10 little serrations at the top, but I don't think that they do too much. I guess if you overset stuff, they can feel like you're doing something in the log, getting clicks, but as soon as you overset, I'm pretty sure you will know that everything drops and you're on the wrong path, but still it's there. And we also have 1 torpedo in chamber 1. So this is a key pin that has a really sharp lip at the top, and if you overset it, it can feel like a set pin, and you will learn that much later in the pick if you don't know that it's there. So 1 torpedo. And now the grand finale, because this is what makes this lock so difficult, are the drivers on the side. So hopefully I will give you as good of a shot as I can. So these drivers look like sort of reverse pyramids. So you can see that they have something like steps. They are basically a stepped spool kind of driver, but I never seen this kind of driver in any lock before. And these steps are really sharp, so it's not like a smooth transition. So the driver gets bigger and bigger in diameter as you work its way towards the shear line. And you can imagine that picking this kind of driver comes in several stages as you work your way up these steps, and every time you want to move 1 step further, you have to rotate back the core more and more, and in some cases the last step basically makes you almost go to neutral position, and you can imagine that this makes a lot of stuff drop, and the tolerances are pretty good in this lock. and I had, I think, 2 or maybe even 3 pins that bound almost at the same time, so I had to set them at the same time, of course. So that was pretty damn confusing at first and difficult. And there's one more thing that they made. I'm pretty sure it's intentional. So if we look at the driver from the bottom, you can see that it's concave. It's not like a straight surface, just sort of a cupping. And if we look at the associated key pin, the top of this key pin is convex. So maybe you can see that. So if you join these pins together, they basically fit into each other like 2 pieces of puzzle. So that leaves a little, almost no space for the shear line to get into. So it's really easy to overset stuff in this lock. So extremely cool driver pin design. I'm not sure why they are not using it more often in other locks. Very effective. So to pick this lock, I was using this custom flag. It's pretty thin. I won't be able to show you, I guess, but it's pretty thin and it's very well sanded, so it's kinda slippery and it can slip between pins, because if you have a mini lift pin on the side, you won't be able to pass around it if it's binding. Basically impossible, almost. You have to have like this kind of really well sanded flag to do that. And for the top pins, I was using this multi-pig hook V06, so the thin one in 15 thousandths. And to tension this lock, this Z-bar BMS10 from multi-pig. Basically the picking process comes in several stages. Of course, you have to know the binding order. At first it's advisable, or at least I think it should be done, because there's only one other video of this lock being picked, so it's not like a rule. But first I try to get the top pins out of the way, the mushrooms, and then I start working on the difficult side pins. The problem is that whenever you want to go deeper with your hook in order to set a top pin and you have a side pin binding, you need to sort of release tension, and just by passing around this side pin with your hook, you basically set it if it's a min lift, and you can also very easily overset it. So that was kind of problematic. And after you get most of the all of the preferably top pins done, you can start working on the side pins, of course. Some of these can be sort of forced before they are binding, so you can skip the whole going up the steps process, but some of them just don't. And the way to set this is basically very similar to setting gin bottle spools, because these steps are binding as hard as gins in milling, so there's no way you can force them. So you have to have a very snug tensioner and start releasing tension slowly, and when you do that, you keep just tapping on that pin until you feel it's kinda coming loose. Then you can push it towards the shear and hopefully you will not drop anything. So very complex process, sort of, at least for such a simply looking lock, but as I said, these drivers are extremely effective. So whenever you can get your hands on this lock, I really recommend it. It's really a challenge to pick it. So yeah, I guess that's all there is to say. I think I didn't mention that there is a ball bearing in that blind chambers that centers the plug, so there's that. And yeah, I think we can go ahead and get this lock picked. Okay, here we go. It works. Let's put some tension in here. Okay, put it snug. Try to deal with the top pins first. Okay, so going after one, but one on the side is binding, so I need to release some tension and set him. And now I can set one on the top. Okay, got him. Now two on the top. There he goes. Now I cannot go inside because this 3 on the side is binding. So again, releasing a little bit of tension. 1, 2. Three, okay. Now I could set the 3 on the top, so a little bit of a full set. Okay. Let's try to set 4. 5 is binding. Okay, I set him. I'm trying to find 4. Okay, I think I got him. Let's see if we dropped anything. 1, 2, 3. All good. Although I'm not exactly sure about 4 on the top, but anyway, let's try to set the side pins now. Okay, so 1 is definitely overset, so I dropped some stuff, and I think the faucet got bigger. Anyway, 1 is good now, 2 as well, 3 is good, 4 should be good, 5, click there, drop some stuff again. Okay, going through these pins again, perfect. Okay, I dropped 1 again, so now it will be a huge ping pong fest. Okay, 1 is good now, and the faucet is getting deeper again. Let's try to set 2. Okay, I think I did it, but 1 dropped. Trying to set 2 and 1 at the same time. I think I did it. The faucet is pretty deep at this point, so maybe there's just 4 on the top remaining, because that one likes to drop, I know that. Okay, I think it's binding, so let's try to set him. If we get lucky, the lock will open. If not, that will suck. Jesus, I'm just afraid of this counter rotation, but I'm pretty sure that 4 is binding. I'm gonna set him, fuck it. What's wrong, dude? I set him, but it feels like I lost like 99% of my full set. Okay, I think I got it back, but at what price? Let's see. 1 is good. Okay, 2 is dropped. Try to set 2 again. Together with 1 preferably. Not sure if that will be possible. Okay, overset 1. So 1 is good, but 2 is dropped. Set 2, but 1 is dropped. Okay, release tension, and we have an open. Cool. That was actually like an average time, I would say. So, as you can see, a lot of ping-ponging, lots of faucets, deep faucets, and some tension releasing required, but perfect, we have the log open. So now, in order to get this apart, we need to undo 2 screws right here. Okay, 1 and 2. sorry, the tail cap, I guess, comes off, and we can basically pull the whole cylinder out. Okay, this we will not need, and we have these two removable Bible covers here. So wait a second, I need to change the focus mode. I think this should be better, maybe. So we just pry this off. So if you're prying off the top one, just be careful because there's a really strong spring on that ball bearing. So just to avoid some accidents. Okay, we can remove the springs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and no, I need to make some space. My other pinning tray, the big one, is occupied at the moment, so I have to work with this one. Okay, so this is the ball bearing spring, and these others are identical, of course. So we'll put them like in here. Alright, so let's deal with this ball bearing first. I will just place him here and start upping the pins. So this is 4. Three. This is 2. And 1. Okay, we have the top, got it. And now the side. So again, can pry this off. Cool. And these springs are a lot bigger than the top springs because these pins are like really large, really wide. Oops. Okay. Let's start from the front. So there's one. I'm definitely not losing these pins because they are so big. So I guess it's kinda easy to find them even if you drop them. Oops, I just did, but I found it. See? Okay. Three. And 4. Okay, pin 4 is not cooperating. Just rearrange this in a second. Actually, I will do it later. And 5. Okay, everything is out. And now just quick rearrangement of these pins so I can give you a close-up. Anyway, the gutting is nothing too terrible thanks to these vinyl covers. Okay, it's just a mushroom, whatever. Alright, so a close-up. Hopefully everything is visible. All of these pyramid drivers on the mushrooms, ball bearing, and some miscellaneous parts. Alright guys, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the pic. I definitely did, although I fought with this lock for a while, but at the end it's a really challenging lock, so I'm always up for a challenge. Okay, thanks for watching and have a nice day.